Hello everyone. Let's continue our discussion on the topic of plotting. In today's lecture, we'll be learning about scatter plots and line plots. You have a new custom reading for today's lecture called line-and-bar.html or .ipynb. Please make sure to go through that. Please pause the lecture video here and download the template notebook file for today's lecture along with sp500.csv dataset file. You don't have to download any other dataset. We'll be using the request module to download the iris dataset directly from the source URL. Let me switch to the notebook file. We are going to get started by discussing the import statements provided as part of the template notebook file. Recall that we have been using pandas module to produce plots. Because pandas integrates with matplotlib module, so I'm importing pandas module with the abbreviation as PD. From pandas, I'm importing data frame and series so that I don't have to keep typing pd.dataframe or pd.series for every single example. Then I'm importing SQLite 3 and OS modules. I'm importing matplotlib module so that I'll be able to set font.size within RC params. Recall that in the previous lecture, we learned that RC params behaves very similar to a dictionary. So we'll be able to say matplotlib.rcparams of font.size or any other setting equal to appropriate value. In this case, I'm setting font.size to 15. Recall that pyplot enables us to manipulate subplots within a figure. Using pyplot, we'll be able to write a generic function which applies specific settings to a blank plot. We can then use that generic function to produce consistent plots within a single Jupyter notebook file or for the purpose of a PDF publication file. Producing consistent plots would make your research publication more readable. I'm also importing the request module. Let's get started by going through a couple of quest questions. Question 1 here is asking, how do you plot a bar chart from a pandas series? Recall that the syntax for producing bar chart is to use series variable name dot plot dot bar open parenthesis close parenthesis. If you want to produce a different type of plot, you can replace bar with the appropriate plot function name. Given a requirement for producing a specific type of plot, I am very confident that all of you will be able to write code for it, even though I am yet to introduce certain types of plots. The more challenging aspect about plotting with respect to data science is going to be about determining which type of plot will best depict a specific data analysis question. We are going to give you some intuition for this as part of Plotting 4 lecture, but it is going to take you years of practice to be able to answer with confidence that a specific type of plot is the best plot for a given data analysis question. Let's move on to the next question, which is asking what are the axes for a bar chart. Pretty much for a series, you only have three associated things. You have the values and the two labels as index and integer position. For the purpose of plotting, we are only going to focus on values and index. So let's talk about what would be the x-axis for the bar chart. Those are going to be the index from the series. The y-axis is going to be the actual values from the series. Let's move on to learning about scatter plots. So far we have been producing plots just with series data structure. We are going to move on to producing scatter plot using data frame data structure. We are going to invoke scatter function by typing data frame variable name dot plot dot scatter open parenthesis close parenthesis. We need to pass arguments to two parameters which are going to be x and y. As the names of those parameters indicate, x parameter represents the x-axis dimension and the y parameter is going to represent the y-axis. Scatter plots are going to enable us to understand relationship between the columns that we pass as arguments to x and y parameters. Those column values are going to come from the data frame. Let me talk about the dataset for the next example. This particular dataset is coming from trees.txt file. We have a list of dictionaries. Each of the inner dictionaries represent a particular tree. You have the details of age, height, and diameter for all of the trees. Presumably, as the tree grows older and as the age increases, the height and the diameter would also increase. What am I doing with this nested list of dictionary data structure? I'm producing a data frame using the data frame constructor function call. I'm passing the trees reference as an argument to the constructor function call. Recall that when your outer data structure is a list, each of your items within that list are going to become rows within your data frame. I'm capturing the data frame into a variable called df. We are only seeing top 5 rows here because I'm invoking the head function using df. Observe that each of the inner dictionaries have become rows within the data frame df. Let's produce the scatter plot for this example. So I'm going to type df.plot.scatter. Let's talk about what sort of argument we want to pass for the parameters x and y over here. Typically, the x-axis dimension for any plot is going to be representing the time aspect. In this particular dataset example, age column is equivalent to time. So that's what we are going to use for the x-axis over here. Let's compare age with height. It's appropriate that we are using height for the y-axis because that's the dimension that you think of when you think about a tree's height. Let me go ahead and execute this cell over here. Observe that we are getting age on the x-axis and height on the y-axis. We are getting the plot points. Each of those points represent one individual tree. The plot points are located based on the height of the tree and the corresponding age of the tree. Let's talk about some aspects of scatter plots that you can control with different variables. By different variables, I mean the column names within the data frame df. We have already discussed that we are going to use age for the x-axis and height for the y-axis. The other three aspects that you can control are going to be color of the plot points, size of the plot points, and shape of the plot points. One thing which I want to mention about size of the plot points is that your argument needs to be diameter of the plot point, which is going to be slightly tricky. If you were to pass radius as an argument, and if you want to scale the plot point by 4x, it should be very easy for you to increase your argument by a factor of 4x. Since you have to pass diameter as the argument, you need to keep in mind to use scaling of 2x when you want 4x scaling of the plot point size. Let's learn how to set color of plot points. I've already copied the code from the previous cell. I'm just going to paste the scatter function call. Let's pass argument to the color parameter here. Recall that we can specify 3 different types of arguments for color parameter. Those are going to be full name of the color, abbreviated name of the color, or a grayscale value which is going to be a string in between 0 to 1. Let me use the abbreviated color R here. That's going to turn the plot points into red color. Let's learn how to vary the size of plot points. The parameter name here is going to be s. The argument is going to be an integer value. Let's use the argument as 100 for this example. Observe that that produces really large plot points. Let me tell you about varying shape of plot points. The parameter here is going to be called as marker. You can use various markers. Let me give you a couple of examples. On your keyboard, press down Shift and click on the key 6. That will enable you to type this uptick symbol, which will enable us to produce triangles as the plot points. If you want pluses as the plot points, your argument to the marker parameter needs to be a string plus. The default value for marker parameter is circle. which is denoted using string O. Let me show you that we go back to circle representation when we pass the argument as string O to marker. I'll let you explore other argument values that you can pass for the marker parameter. Let's move on to solving the next question, which is asking how do we add tree diameter data to the scatter plot. Let me display the head function call output for the data frame df. We have already used age column name for the x-axis, height column name for the y-axis. We have one more column name which is diameter over here. Among the three aspects that you can use for setting within a scatter plot, which are going to be color, size, and marker, which do you think is more appropriate to depict the diameter column within data frame df? If you were thinking that would be size, you had the correct answer to my question. There are going to be two different options for you to do this setting. Let me give you the first option first. I'm going to use the parameter name as s here, and as the value I need to specify the string column index, which is going to be diameter over here. Let's execute the cell. Observe that your plot points diameter are coming from the diameter column, which is identified using the column index diameter. There is one problem with this plot. All of the plot points look very tiny. Let's first go through option number 2, which will enable us to fix the issue with the sizing of each of those plot points. Instead of using the column index, you could extract the series which represents that particular column from the data frame. Recall that the syntax for that is to specify data frame variable name, which is df, and then open square bracket. Within that you're going to specify the column index, which is diameter, and close square bracket over here. That's going to produce the exact same plot as before. The only advantage with using a series extraction for this particular argument is going to be that you can manipulate that series very easily. Recall that you can apply element-wise multiplication operation between a series of values and a scalar simply by typing the series variable into the appropriate scalar. Let's say that we want to scale up by 25x over here. I'm going to just go ahead and execute this cell. Instead of using df of diameter as the argument to the parameter s, I'm going to specify df of diameter into 25. Observe that now we are getting a slightly better plot. Let's move on to doing one more improvement for this particular example. This is not going to be recommended in general. You are not supposed to use the same variable to represent multiple aspects of the plot, but I'm still going to show this as a dummy example for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to represent color also with the diameter column. So recall that the parameter for color should be color, or it could be just C. Both of those will work. And I'm going to specify the argument here as diameter. Observe that we are now getting the plot where your plot point colors are coming from a grayscale value. Let me actually fix the size over here to factor the 25x change that we included in the previous version of the example. The color here is grayscale representation of the diameter column. Observe that we are using the diameter column to represent two different aspects of the plot, which are size and the color. Do not do this. This is just a dummy example. So I'm going to talk about one problem with this plot, which is that the value which is 1.2 diameter is very close to white scale. You can barely see the points which have diameter of 1.2. Let me introduce to you vmin parameter, which is going to enable us to fix this particular issue. As the name suggests, vmin is going to enable us to set the minimum value for this particular setting, which is going to be color. So in Jupyter Notebook, I'll be able to type and enter in between the arguments for a function call, and you can still type the remaining arguments in the next line. That would make your code slightly more readable. Let me type the parameter name as vmin. Vmin is going to take as argument a single value. So how do we get the minimum value from the diameter column? Recall that you can use the min function on a series. So I'm going to say of diameter dot min open parenthesis close parenthesis. If I execute this as such, we are going to get the exact same plot as before. What we want to do here is to lower the vmin setting a little bit before the very first diameter value that we encounter. Let's say that I want to subtract 2 from the existing vmin setting. Observe that now the diameter scale, which is displayed on the right hand side over here, is starting from -1 instead of starting at 1.0. It's pretty cool that the scale here is directly provided to you for the color parameter. I'll wrap up this video here. In the next video, we are going to go through the iris data analysis.